International. Welcome to HBS. I'm Tony. So now, let's look at those memorable highlights of last week. All of the classes of International Department get a great improvement on the singing competition of last week.
Singing competition is a traditional custom in International Department. Every classes choose the pleasant, suitable songs every morning. The school will choose the best class on Thursday and give this class a golden star, which is the representative of the champion. The singing competition can let the class be united because it will only get a champion if every individuals in this class try their best to sing. In these days, every classes get a great improvement on singing. I wish that everybody can try their hardest to sing. Let the song light up your whole day.
Everything that don't need
UK lawmakers approved EU withdrawal bill.
British lawmakers voted early Tuesday in favor of giving the European Union bill a second reading, moving the bill to the next stage of the parliament process. The vote was 326 MP in favor and 290 against. Prime Minister Theresa May issued a statement calling the vote a historic decision to back the will of the British people. Although there is more to do, this decision means we can move on with negotiations with solid foundation, and we can continue to encourage MP from all the parts of the UK to work together in support of this vital piece of the legislation, she said.
Desperate flees from Caribbean Irma survivors.
Hurricane Irma was a Category 5 storm when it crashed through the Caribbean, leaving at least 36 people dead in its wake before moving on Florida. The storm carved out a path of devastation, leaving a trail of extensive damage in small islands. The British territories of Barbuda and Anguilla, the British Virgin Islands, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and the Turks and Caicos. Many islands are still assessing the damage as they begin to pick up the pieces.
North Korea launched the missile over Japan.
In a major show of defiance to the international community, North Korea fired a ballistic missile over the North Japanese island of Hokkaido Friday. The launch is the second to fly over Japan in less than a month and the first since North Korea's 6th nuclear test and new United Nations sanctions on the country. North Korean state media has yet to reference the launch, but a commentary published in the Rongdong Sinmun newspaper Friday said, "No matter how strong the pressure is, it doesn't work on us." Tokyo and Washington will be seeking to upset pressure on the United Nations Friday, with the two governments calling a snap meeting of the Security Council for Friday afternoon, ahead of the General Assembly next week. Speaking after the launch, the first since North Korea's 6th nuclear test, Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe said the launch was totally unacceptable and went against the international community strong, united for a peaceful solution. Friday's missile test follows the release of a statement Wednesday, in which the North Korea state news agency KCNA threatened the 4 islands of the Japanese archipelago should be sunken into the sea by nuclear bomb of Huchi, referring to the ruling ideology of North Korea. The launch also seemed to be intended to send a message to the U.S., flying a distance equivalent to that from North Korea to Guam, the U.S. territory that has come under threat from Pyongyang in recent weeks.
U.S.-backed forces kicked out offensive against ISIS in Syria city.
U.S.-backed forces in Syria said Saturday they were launching an offensive against ISIS in the eastern city of Deir ez-Zor. The Syrian Democratic Forces
an alliance of mostly Kurdish and some Arab militias, says the push is designed to force the terror movement from eastern parts of the city, the largest in eastern Syria and one of the largest in the country. The SDF is already fighting ISIS in its de facto capital of Raqqa, Syria, and is now aiming to clear the eastern bank of the Euphrates River of the militant fighters, a statement said. Deir ez-Zor is arguably more important to ISIS than Raqqa. It sits at the heart of Syria's oil fields, was an essential source of income to ISIS, and Syria's main gateway to Iraq. It's also one of the most crucial in a string of towns along the Euphrates, where ISIS is expected to make its last stand. Daesh guns are trying to attack the al-Shadidi area and the eastern outskirts of Deir ez-Zor in a desperate attempt to raise the morale of their forces in Raqqa. And so we in the Deir ez-Zor Military Council have decided to begin this decisive campaign, the SDF statement said. The al-Shadidi region is in Hasakah province in northeastern Syria. ISIS still holds much of Deir ez-Zor, thought to be home still to 90,000 civilians, though many may have fled, and control territory to the south of the Euphrates. But the group is quickly running out of the fighters, supplies, and escape routes. Here's the announcement. If you want to join in Lena and Angel's TED group, you can come and find Angel and Elena from Year 8 Class 4. And the task group mainly about work or announce the poster of the speakers of TED and let them have a better participation. And that's all we have for you today. See you next week! And then I'm gonna announce the consequence of our recruitment. So here are the list. There are Lena from Year 8 Class 4, Simon from Year 8 Class 4, Cynthia from Year 8 Class 4, and Tim from Year 7 Class 1. Also, Louise from Year 7 Class 5. So welcome to HBS.